The year is 2018.
Yeah.
Tink Tonk and Fortnite have become global phenomenons. Arthur Morgan and Peter Parker ain't feeling so good, Mr. Stark. But the camera industry was feeling pretty dang good. Sony dropped the legendary A7 III. Fuji gave us the X-T3, which I still have, LOLXD. But Blackmagic had something else up their sleeve. Oh, it's actually a note, and it says, check your pocket. That's right, we finally got a successor to the incredible 2013 BMPCC OG. I made a full retro review episode on this camera as well. Shout out to Bob's Hair.
Go watch it if you know what's good for you.
But this new camera took a massive leap in performance and a very different approach to design. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K.
Great camera.
So what are we doing for today's sponsorship? I don't know, Ken. Just tell them about PPA, please. I'm busy. But isn't that just for photographers? Kenneth, with a PPA membership, folks get up to $15,000 of gear, equipment, insurance. I know. Doesn't matter if it's photo or video gear, it's all covered. Aren't you forgetting something? Oh! The hell? How did you get in here? Found your key under your boot, made a copy. That's concerning. Only thing you should be concerned with is telling these sweet peeps about Imaging USA. So get to it. You're right, actually. PPA is hosting the world's largest photography convention this upcoming year, and I'm gonna be there in Nashville, Tennessee. Me too. Me three? No. What if I sign up for PPA and go by myself? I mean, then technically he can get in for free. Great, can't wait. Anyway, we're gonna be doing a community meetup at Imaging as well, so if you wanna come hang out, check out the gear showroom floor and PPA's classes, then join at the top link in the description below, and it supports our channel a lot, so I really appreciate it. Wait, does this mean I'm officially hired on the channel? You can work for me. Hell yeah, brother. Neither one of you are getting paid, okay? Please just click the link and now let's talk about some history stuff. In 2018, the camera landscape was way different than it looks today. The main companies were dropping cameras that kind of all fell into the same realm of hybrid shooters. The A7 III, the X-T3, Lumix G9, and the EOS R were some of the newest developments. But then there's Blackmagic with the Pocket 4K, which easily stood out among this crowd.
Hey guys, Jake here from CDP. I'm on the Blackmagic booth at NAB 2018, looking at their brand new Pocket Cinema Camera 4K.
It is our kind of our successor to the original Pocket camera.
Looks awesome, good price point. Comes out in September, but I think it's worth the wait.
Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K.
But let's address the obvious. The Pocket 4K was absolutely not a pocket camera, which was probably its biggest criticism at the time. But then we all soon learned that this camera under the hood was an absolute monster video production camera, and it kind of made us forget about the terrible naming scheme.
It features dual ISO. It records at up to 60 frames per second in 4K.
We have Canon LPE6 batteries in the camera, multiple LUTs being loaded on there, full-size HDMI, being able to have USB-C, C-Fast, as well as SD cards for recording form factors.
Okay.
Even today, it's wild to see a raw video shooting camera with amazing pro features and beautiful color science stacked up next to some pretty basic options from the other brands. Blackmagic was trying to make a big splash in the industry by announcing this camera that would eventually define the future of their compact cinema cameras. And I want to see, does this thing actually hold up in the modern day, or does it fall short? But before I test one out, I want to see what other filmmakers have made with this camera over the years, because there is an absolute booty ton of short films and projects out there on the web. So let's do a brand new episode of Filmmaker Reacts, the only show on YouTube that has filmmakers reacting to filmmaking things. Let's start with this first one, which is titled The Search. It's a short film shot on the Sigma 18-35. Levi Stute cinematography. Shout out to my son, Levi. It's got a very professional vibe so far, folks. Wow, look at that costume design. And the Sigma 18-35 is just a legendary piece of kit. It's fantastic. This is what my wife should wear when I'm gassy. Oh, she can only be outside for a certain amount of time. That's cool.
Ich war im Wald und ich habe was gefunden.
I don't know what the heck that thing is, but that kind of stuff adds so much to a production. Just really cool little objects and costume design. Like, that's such a underrated part of filmmaking, I feel like, especially in like short films and stuff. That was a really beautiful production. Shout out Levi Stute cinematography. Since I'm recording this around Halloween, I feel like we had to find some horror style stuff as well. This one's called Sleep Demon, posted 3 years ago by Brendan Sescon. Kind of nervous.
Every night, my sleep paralysis demon practices dancing like Michael Jackson.
Can we not do this tonight, please?
Okay, immediately funny. Immediately funny.
Stared at me for
Oh my
hours.
gosh. It looks really good. From your demon.
I apologize for leaving without saying goodbye. I've moved to Los Angeles, California to pursue a career in modern dance.
I didn't watch any of these before this. I just looked at ones that I thought would be interesting. So I was expecting a horror film. That's hilarious. This is the last video I wanted to check out with you guys, shot by Roman Hentz. This was posted only a month ago, and this is actually the video that came up on my feed that inspired me to get the Mikey lens that I'm using for my 4K test footage. First of all, this makes me excited to like go explore with my son when he gets older, but also look how beautiful this frame is. Like the skin tones, the sky, there's detail everywhere. If you showed this to anyone, they're not gonna be like, hey, is that like 4/3? Gosh, that looks good. Gosh, look at the highlights, they're beautiful. Look at the skin tones, man. They're just like, I need to figure out how to do this. They're just like golden, tan, brown, but you don't see where it like gradients from red to orange or whatever. Like it's just so smooth and filmic. The sun coming through her jacket. Oh, that's so good. I'm like emotional right now. Oh my gosh. This guy is the reason I got the Mikey lens that I use for my mini doc, and it really is an amazing lens and it's super cheap. It's got some chromatic aberration, but some really beautiful fall off, and it's 25 mil, so on Micro Four Thirds it's a 50, but I absolutely love it, and that's why I chose it, was that video. So, and that's why I felt inspired to make a Pocket 4K project and do something real. So I shot a mini documentary of my friend Bobby, who is recording an album called Letters, and it's dedicated to his music journey and now his wife and his daughter and how it all intertwines. So after shooting a mini doc and testing this camera and this really cool lens, how do I actually feel about the Pocket 4K and how it performs in the modern day and potentially moving forward? Let's talk about the pros first. Right off the bat, you get amazing options in terms of ports. You get full-size HDMI, USB-C, which can transfer your footage directly to a SSD in case you want to skip your SD card or CFast card options in the camera. You get baby XLRs, 3.5mm audio. So right off the bat, that's a win. Even though the body design itself is kind of weird and very plasticky, at least you get all the good options there. Now, with the image, we have to get a little bit specific because there's different ways to use this camera to maximize it. The image looks absolutely incredible, the color science is amazing, and Blackmagic continued to update it years after it came out, so you can get access to the most modern film settings like Film Gen 5, which is a beautiful color profile that matches even the newer Blackmagic cameras, which will give you that signature Blackmagic smooth cinematic look and amazing colors. Now, you can shoot ProRes options like LT, 422, and HQ, or B-RAW, and I learned in my testing that B-RAW, which probably sounds obvious now, but it's way better than ProRes. You can actually get pretty good file sizes out of it, even though you're shooting in RAW, because you have various options for compression. And with B-RAW in DaVinci Resolve, you get access to highlight recovery, which kind of supercharges the dynamic range of this camera and can get you back that critical highlight information that you will definitely lose in ProRes if you overexpose. Which is actually easy with this camera because you have things like waveforms and false color directly built into the camera's beautiful monitor, so it's pretty easy to get a good exposed image. Rolling shutter performance is relatively solid. That's another benefit of this camera being a Micro Four Thirds sensor. Those sensors typically have faster readout speeds, and it shows here. It does a pretty good job. And it's actually pretty decent in low light because it has a dual native ISO of 400 and 3200. And overall, it just has amazing pro features on this incredible screen and user interface. Blackmagic's UI is still my favorite to operate. It's just smooth and intuitive. And the biggest pro, especially now in the modern day, is that this camera is wildly affordable. I've been seeing some on eBay between like $600 and $800 USD. It varies here and there, but there's tons of them out there. And yeah, we'll get into who this camera's for after we talk about cons. A big con for me is the lack of stabilization on this camera, and because this camera is so lightweight, you're gonna see all those shakes and micro jitters if you're not holding this camera like an absolute beast. Of course, you can rig it out and make it a lot heavier, but for this video, I wanted to keep it as stripped down as possible and see how it would perform in a professional setting. I have a lot of experience shooting handheld, so I tried to be as careful as I could with movement and still got some great images. I was just very intentional with how I was holding it and how much movement I was putting into it. I kind of just let the subjects speak for themselves in terms of movement and didn't try to add any extra movement in the camera itself. But the flip side of having no IBIS is the fact that you can hard mount this camera to subjects and get amazing looking footage. When you're hard mounting like I did to my car or something that moves a lot, you don't want IBIS because that'll make the sensor shake around inside the camera. Having a sensor that doesn't move at all is perfect for stuff like this because you see the movement of the subject in frame and the camera itself is just lasered onto the subject. It's amazing what that looks like and it gives it a cinematic movie effect. I also put no autofocus as a con, but I don't think any of us are really expecting this camera to have great autofocus because Blackmagic is just now starting to experiment with autofocus and it's still not great. But just in case you've never used a Blackmagic camera before, don't expect Lumix, Canon, or Sony levels of autofocus. This is kind of like a 90-year-old man just trying to pull focus for you, and yeah, he's blind. And yes, the screen is amazing on this camera, but it doesn't get as bright as some of the newer camera monitors out there, so in really bright conditions, it might be a struggle, and also it doesn't tilt at all. So getting low angles or wonky positions is kind of difficult, and I don't really want to put an external monitor on a camera that already has a massive monitor on it. And the last big con is, of course, the battery life. With the LPE6 batteries, which are just silly to be using in a camera that sucks this much power, you're only going to get probably between 30 to 40 minutes of record time per battery. And worse than that, even when your battery is low, it shows the percentage on camera. Sometimes it will just turn off your camera, even though it's at like 20% or 10% or something like that. So it's pretty dang risky if you're doing long form shooting. So if you're doing stuff like that, like interviews, just plug this thing into a power source so you don't have to worry about killing your footage and corrupting files. After all of these notes on the camera, does it actually live up to modern standards? I would say, heck yeah, brother. I don't think it would be a great camera for YouTube, vlogging, any sort of like self-filming unless you want to do all manual setups with no reliable autofocus. But this is an absolutely amazing filmmaking camera with a gorgeous image. The fact that it's micro four thirds mount gives you access to a ton of different lenses. So I think this could be an amazing starter camera if you want to get into short films or video production, or if you're already in the Blackmagic ecosystem and you need an extra camera, a B or C or whatever. The 4K makes a lot of sense because it still has the same color science as the more modern Blackmagic cameras. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Retro Review. I renamed this show, if you want to call it, to Rerun a while back and had a new like cool animation made for it. So just tell me, what do you guys think? I feel like people still ask me about retro reviews all the time. Nobody really knows that I was calling them reruns. Should we just go back to Retro Review, even though not everything we talk about is retro? It's fun. I like it. Retro Review is catchy. Let me know what you guys think about that. And also, text me when you get home so I know you're safe. And please watch out for deer. It's hunting season. Follow me on Instagram for short and dumb stuff like this. Join the Patreon to have your name over here. And check out our free Discord server for some nerdy camera friends. It's an amazing community. Love all of you Discord members. And remember that you guys are loved way more than you might even know. I pray that God would bless you and your families. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Wow, that was good.